Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I am playing Pauper at the request of Patreon subscriber Ash, and this is Ash's Grixis Serpentine Curve Control Brew. This is a creatureless classic Grixis control deck. This has very 1996 sensibilities about it, where all this deck does is kill things and draw cards until it eventually wins somewhere down the road. And the only win condition in this deck is a 3 of Serpentine Curve. Curve is a sorcery from Strixhaven. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X+1 counters on it, where X is 1 plus the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and your graveyard. The deck, it tries to fuel the graveyard with spells, and spells conveniently go to the graveyard when you cast them. So consider Preordain, Brainstorm. These are cantrips that help you stay alive. Find your lightning bolts to kill the creatures, find your counter spells to counter the combo payoff, whatever, and they end up in the graveyard when you do that. Frantic Inventory is draw 1 card and then draw a card for each card named Frantic Inventory in your graveyard. So the first one draws 1, second one draws 2, third draws 3, etc. Cast down, one of the cleanest removal spells in the format right now. Bolt, the classic. Abrade is pretty important because Affinity is one of the best decks in the format right now. I'm a little worried about this main deck's ability to fight Affinity, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Cleansing Wildfire is a dope one. This, you can break up Tron, or if Bogles is playing like Wild Growths or that sort of thing, you can blow up their land that's holding that and slow them down a little. But the deck also has 11 indestructible lands in it. So you could target your own land with Cleansing Wildfire, search your deck for a basic land, and draw a card. So it's a rampant growth and sometimes Tron hate split card. 1 of Fling. This is sort of the combo end of the deck. There are 38 spells in this deck, so it's not unreasonable to imagine a world where Serpentine Curve is big enough to fling at an opponent for lethal. If it even connects once, like a 10/10 is lethal if it connects once. Lightning Bolt could soften them up, get their life total low enough that fling is good on the, just good enough up front without a connection. Or this thing could genuinely be a 20/20. Who knows? It could happen if the game goes long enough. And Pieces of the Puzzle is the real engine of this deck. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 instant or sorceries from them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. This card is a kind of mini dig through time. You get the 2 best spells among the 5 cards, and the rest go to the graveyard where they fuel the curve, or fuel the next Frantic Inventory, etc. This is a pretty well-constructed deck. It's clever, all the pieces make sense. In the metagame at large, I am a little worried about Affinity, which is an outrageous percentage of the metagame. It's the best deck right now. People are calling for bans and stuff. Like, sure, we're not going to talk about whether Pauper needs an Affinity ban right now. But the deck is popular. It is everywhere. And Abrade, Lightning Bolt, Cast Down, Counterspell do all play in that matchup. You could help take the pressure off. But Affinity has 3 2/2s, free 4/4s, the Atog Fling combo. Some of them have Disciple of the Vault to burn you out. Some or all have Galvanic Blast to burn you out. It's a pretty steady drain on your resources and life total the longer the game goes on. And this deck is not really built to play a short game. I could see against Affinity the plan being just curving as soon as you can. Like as soon as you have a 5/5, just cast the first curve and start attacking, contest the board a little bit. That's probably how you're going to have to play that matchup. But we'll figure that out when we get there. I added 1 shenanigans to the sideboard that wasn't there before. Shenanigans just seems like the perfect card for this deck. The deck draws extra cards, so you could reasonably like Dread Shenanigans, cast it, cast Preordained, Dread Shenanigans again, cast it again. Like you could shenanigan more than once in a turn. It's also pretty happy to be in the graveyard. You could dump it with pieces of the puzzle. Dredging fuels the curves. Like I like how Shenanigans fits into the deck. So I added one in there, but the 2 Abrades and just the fair removal spells and counter spells are going to have to do the work outside of that. This deck has a pretty clear plan. We just have to stay alive and have good control deck fundamentals to get to it. Let's try it out. On the draw, I have my mana set up and 2 answers. I'm going to keep this. I'm not sure if you need to mulligan for more card selection than this, or if you can actually just keep a 5-lander, hit your land drops, and cast your spells, which is what I want to be doing in a control deck. We will see how this one works out. Opponent mulled to 5, so they're either Tron or Unlucky. Okay, Elves. Could still be some kind of generic stompy deck. Leading on the blue-black land, because that casts Cast Down or Counterspell. Bridge doesn't cast Cast Down. This bridge doesn't cast Counterspell. I guess I can't call it bridge. They're all bridges. I have 1 Pirate Clasm in the main deck, and then 2 more in the sideboard, which is basically the whole plan for this matchup. I have some options here. I can hold up Counterspell and see what their payoff plan is, or I could kill the Fyndhorn Elves now. And I think I want to hold up Counterspell for a turn. If they sneak in one of their engine cards, it's been a while since I played against Pauper Elves, so I'm forgetting the names, but there's the Hill Giant that makes an elf every time you cast an elf. The Solana Huntmaster or something. Lead the Stampede on a mull to 5 is something I'd like to counter as well. Yeah. Most of their engine cards cost 3 or 4, so that's the turn you want to interact on. I'm going to kill Fyndhorn Elves. That's the one that generates the cleanest mana. And do I need a 3rd blue or a 2nd black? This choice of bridge is actually a little bit interesting. I think I just need to max out on blue mana because I have Counterspell on the deck and then all these blue cantrips. I'm going to play the Izzet bridge. Unfortunately here, in 3 draw steps, I found 1 new spell and 2 more lands, where I was really in the lands market. A Brainstorm would be great anytime now. Some cantrips, pieces of the puzzle, obviously. That's what the deck is built around. Hello, Brainstorm. Good to see you, buddy. Which found 2 more lands. Okay. I'm going to put back... Drawing Cleansing Wildfire is actually exciting because that gives me a shuffle without having to use my Ash Barrens, so I can save that for the next cantrip and destroy my own land. I would like to use the ability. Search for another island, and I draw Lightning Bolt. That's a good one. I'll play this extra red source, and that was a pretty good turn. Cleansing Wildfire rules. Oh, they drew a 2nd land, but they're down to 1 card in hand, and now they're turning their thing sideways, which is a problem. Oh, Well-Wisher. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can consider Lightning Bolt and Serpentine Curve this turn. Let's consider first. Cleansing Wildfire into the graveyard. No, I actually want that in my hand, thank you very much. The card rules. I'm very impressed. And then Lightning Bolt, the Well-Wisher, because we're going to have to win a race here, and Well-Wisher just messes that up. And then let's make a big curve. 7/7 creature. Now it's time to bash. If they can go wide around this, we're in trouble. If they can't, we're going to win this game very quickly. Oh wow, they're just still pushing for damage. They think we're racing. I like that. Okay, red, blue. I'm going to Cleansing Wildfire first. So I have all the information that I can get before making any decisions. Consider and preordain. I consider. No, let's have another curve in hand. Play Ash Barrens as a land, which is a thing that you do sometimes. Take a 10/10. Back for 7. Okay. We got to fade an engine card. If they're able to lead the Stampede, then cast a bunch of shit, these curves actually just got pretty bad. But if they're not able to do that, we have Giant Creatures. And Giant Creatures did it. We got pretty lucky that, well, I take it back. We didn't get lucky. We played well. The Mull to 5 was unfortunate for them, but the fact that we left up Counterspell instead of casting the removal spell proactively on turn 3, which is when they want to try to start doing stuff, that's what won that game. I think if they were able to lead the Stampede, they would have run away with it. But stop that from happening. Okay, the Fiery Cannonades come in. This is like the whole thing. Chainer's Edict isn't great because they have so many creatures, but sometimes just getting any creature off the board matters. I'll see if there's room for that. Gotta cut 3 cards. That sucks because I just want every card. It's probably the Wildfires. As much as I like them, as cool as ramping and drawing the cards and getting the Shuffle Off Brainstorm was, Wildfire doesn't actually have any text versus my opponent. And that seems like just the filler card that you can cut for better cards when it's not actually interacting with what your opponent's doing. And do I think a Chainer's Edict is better than the 4th Wildfire? That one I'm not sure about. This Edict is like fine on turn 2 and good if you're already winning, and it's really bad if you're behind. It's a pretty good one to mill with pieces of the puzzle, though. Just anything you can cast out of your graveyard is free money at that point. I think I'm going to leave in Wildfire. We'll see how it lines up in game 2 if we need to play a game 3. I can keep this one. No removal, unfortunately, but whatever. My deck's full of Pyroclasms at this point. I'll keep the handful of cantrips. And there's a removal spell right away. Rangers. Spara Sentinel. Okay, this game, unlike last game, I can't hold up Counterspell because I don't have double blue. I think I should kill Llanowar Elves this time. They missed their land drop. In Sentinel and Virtual Rangers both also make mana, but I'm going to fight over Elves, try to pinch them where I can, and I think that's the biggest pinch I can put on them right now. Next turn, I can cycle Ash Barrens for an island and then hold up Counterspell or Frantic Inventory. Yeah, Quirion Ranger. That taking out the Llanowar Elves took 2 mana out of play with this Ranger top deck. I'm going to need a Pyroclasm, or a Fiery Cannonade, whatever that card's actually called. Pirate Clasm. Gonna need a Pirate Clasm to actually win this game, though. You got a Timberwatch Elf in on me. That's one of the better cards they could have. Is one of their win conditions. I don't have time to get this tap land into play. I'm gonna cycle for basic island, hold up Counterspell, and I'll Frantic Inventory if they don't give me something to counter. This is my favorite phase of Draw-Go games. I wish we weren't quite so far behind on board, but when you get to hold up Counterspell, and if they don't do anything you need to counter, you can draw cards. Love it. This Timberwatch Elf is good for 5 damage right now, 6, 7, 8. They could just attack me for 8 right now. Oh, it's actually a lot more because of Quirion Ranger. Yeah, they can attack me for 10, 11, 12. Yeah, they can. I'm actually on a 2-turn clock, so I'm going to commit to Frantic Inventorying this turn. I don't know what spell I would counter versus... Like, I just need to answer this board. Even snuck another elf in on me here. Well played. Just the 6/6 coming in. I don't know what they're worried about, or if they are holding out blue mana over there. I don't have black, and red cards already can't kill this thing. I'm in some trouble. I gotta answer Timberwatch Elf on my turn. The Quirion Ranger is keeping Timberwatch Elf alive right now, so that's not an out. Preordain can see 3 cards for 1 mana. Frantic Inventory gets 2 cards for 2 mana. I think I have to preordain into Cast Down or the Sweeper. Yeah, I'm gonna preordain here. A Braid and Pieces. Yeah, the tap lands are killing me here because if I Lightning Bolt, they can untap their Timberwatch Elf, and then I can't Abrade in response. All right, I got a bottom YOLO for the Sweeper. No love. Is it possible to mess this up for them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think it's possible to mess this up. That's the way they can mess this up, is not realizing that they can untap on my turn. This is just a heat check. Oh, cool. They're showing me Blue Elemental Blast. All right. Well, that's good information to have. I'm still dead, but I got something more than just untap your creature out of that. Blue Blasts are in the deck. Yeah, I think I do want Chainer's Edict over the Cleansing Wildfire. On the play, it's a lot better because you can hit their Llanowar Elf, their first play of the game with Chainer's Edict on curve, and they don't have a choice. They just lose the good creature. I think that's all I want to do. I don't want the second one. The rest of the cards in the deck are just better than the second one already. Okay, great hand. It needs red mana, but I have preordained to find it. I'm on the play. I have Cast Down, which plays around the Blue Elemental Blast, kills a creature of any size, which is one of the problems with red removal versus Timberwatch Elf. Play my bridge and ship it. Drawing an untapped red source would be so good here. I can just clear out this Elvish Mystic on curve. Another Cannonade. Preordained. Can you find me red? Oh yeah. I'm gonna bottom the island, top the mountain, and bolt this immediately. Now I can curve Cast Down with my tap land into Fiery Cannonade into Fiery Cannonade. And then we just gotta find a curve to push damage through that. Oh, that's great. I'm gonna Braid the Priest. I was about to start considering if I should let them pour out. Like, you have to sort of commit to Priest. You gotta put more than one thing into play. I was wondering if I should let them commit more and then sweep it up with Cannonade to save my Cast Down, but then I drew a Braid and it didn't matter. Ooh, cool. I can make a 4/4 right now, or I can Cannonade and make a 5/5 next turn. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Cannonade, because the Sentinel is their blue source, and right now, before they have blue mana available, I would like to clean up the board. And if they spend a turn rebuilding with, like Winding Way or Lead the Stampede, etc., this is the perfect turn to slam a curve. Okay, cool. Now I get to Delver them. I have a 5/5. They're dead in 4 hits. And I have another sweeper in hand and 2 spot removal spells. Just got to make sure this Huntmaster can't go too wide on me. Elvish Vanguard, okay. Clean that one up. Oh, the 3rd Pyroclasm. It's filthy. They do have to be careful with the Birchler Rangers in their hand, because that makes blue, which can counter spells. But the Cast Down can clean up Vanguard no matter how big it gets. So I'm gonna, I think, a Braid targeting Birchler Ranger. Oh, another Vanguard. Okay. Yeah, maybe I just Cannonade here. Clear this out. My mighty 5/5 survives the pesky little fire. Doesn't care. Back for another 5. And I'm going to cycle Ash Barrens for a blue source right now. I think hitting the land drop's worth more than holding this for one of my 2 brainstorms or whatever. Like, let's develop here. Plus having 5 lands lets me Cast Down plus Cannonade in a turn, which might end up mattering. Virtual Ranger, Quirion Ranger. Okay, I'm going to let those resolve. If they tap these to make another elf, then they're tapped out of blue for the Cannonade. I'm going to Abrade Birchler Ranger, see if they have a blue spell for me. Or, yeah, blue spell. Yep, Blue Elemental Blast. That's why we sat on the Cannonade. I'm going to attack. If they bounce a forest to block, I can sweep them up in response, and they're down a land. All right, they didn't fall for that. I'm going to Brainstorm first to get all the information. The Cast Down. Yeah, that second Cast Down is probably plenty here. Next turn I can Preordain into Consider. Oh, I should have put Consider in my hand, I guess. All right, let's just mop this up now. The 3rd Pyroclasm. They need to put 3 creatures into play this turn because I have 2 removal spells and they're at 5. And even if they can put 3 creatures into play, they're just in the abyss forever. I'm just moving in here. Cast Down, go for the win. Yeah, this deck full of removal certainly feels like it's pretty good against elves. A good first match. On to the next one. On the draw in round 2, I'm going to keep this hand. Got tons of card selection. Needs a red source, but What are all these brainstorms and frantic inventories for? Okay, we have run into the infamous affinity. See what we can do about this. Still leading on my tap plan, even though I found a 1 mana spell worth casting. Investing in your mana for later will always be better in a control deck like this. They're getting set up. No Frogmite. It's too bad, because that's the one creature I can kill with the cards that I have. Oh, dope. Alright, I can play this island, and then I can brainstorm and then shuffle. Finding a mountain, I can frantic inventory. I got choices here, is what I'm saying. I love when Pauper decks line up just right, because they don't get the fetch land mana base that Legacy decks do. So when your brainstorm actually does line up with your shuffle effect on curve, oh, feels good. Disciple is something I can kill with Cannonade. And I do think brainstorm is better than frantic inventory here, because I do want to fix my mana into red. The storm action. Right, this might be too many cleansing wildfires. This is kind of a fun puzzle of, do I want this land, or do I want to let my cantrips find the land? But I'm gonna likely to spend 3 mana next turn. So I think one of these wildfires has to go, and it might be pieces actually, because I have double frantic inventory. I just don't think I'm gonna have time to tap out in a main phase for pieces, not for a while. Find my mountain here. The perfect brainstorm. A lightning bolt, dope. Okay, lightning bolt can kill Disciple without committing Cannonade to the board, and then I can also frantic inventory. But I don't need to respond to this Disciple yet. When Atog is on the stack is when I need to deal with Disciple. Ooh, alright, dope. Cannonade's getting better. I believe this deck does have some counterspells in the main. I'm gonna take my swing with Cannonade here. If they cast Metallic Rebuke here, it means they're not casting a Tog this turn, which I'm okay with. Okay, they're popping their star in response. There's nothing I could have done about that. Okay, they're Deadly Disputing, which will drain me for 4 and draw them 2 cards. Oh, they can also make a treasure token. If they sack the treasure token to Galvanic Blast me, that's 2 more, so 6, 10. Yeah, they can 10 me here. Shit is scary. Let's see what the Deadly Dispute comes up with. If anything. Hopefully nothing. Double checking these aren't pirates. Okay. Sweet relief. That would have been embarrassing. Pirates did not exist at the time this was printed. Just had to make sure it wasn't retconned. Third Disciple, okay. Third Frantic Inventory. Oof. Okay, I'm playing my bridge. Lightning bolting their idiot now before it can have another crazy turn like that. I believe that... Oh, I don't have red mana anyway. I was about to say I'm pretty sure Affinity decks have 1 basic in them these days, either 1 swamp or 1 mountain, depending on their configuration. So Cleansing Wildfire isn't actually a Stone Rain, but I don't have red anyway, so it doesn't matter. Wedding Invitation. I've never seen this card. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. If it's a vampire, it also gains lifelink. Oh, sick. Yeah, that's just a combo with a Tog. Mirror Enforcer. Powerful. Let's get this inventory train rolling. I am kind of on flavor here. I am frantically looking for more cards. I found a good one immediately. If I don't draw a land here, I'm going to inventory again, try to hit my land drop. If I do draw a land, I'm just going to pass the turn. Okay. I could actually Wildfire and hold up Cast Down going into their next turn. So is inventory actually better than Wildfire? Like the ramp versus draw 2, which leads to draw 3. No, inventory is much better. And I'm going to Cast Down on their turn. Like if they have a counter spell, I want them to use their own mana to do it. Doing it in upkeep versus doing it in combat is kind of close, because doing it in upkeep, it's 1 less draw spell. But doing it in combat, they might do something that changes information first main. Black, red. I chose to leave up blue representing counterspell over blue-red, or black-blue representing another removal spell. I don't know if they are in a position to play around or respect either of those cards. Oh wow, there's so many cards from this new set. Blood Fountain enters the battlefield and make a blood token. Sacrifice Blood Fountain, return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Damn! That's scary. It's 2 artifacts just for 1 mana, and then the effect is actually just good also. Oh, hope I don't get flung right now. They have 2 mana. If I tap out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I could just die here. But I think if they have fling, I'm not beating this anyway. I gotta advance my situation here. I could have continued to bluff, but I think I would have countered Atog, not fling. All right, looks like they have it. Or they're doing something here. Yeah, they have it. That's fine. Like, I mentioned that they probably do, maybe could, but I would have countered a Tog. Like, I'm already not bluffing counterspell. It's just, I don't know. This hand was not going anywhere quick anyway. Though they seem to be respecting counterspell, even though I obviously didn't have it. Like, if they're not taking the read, maybe I shouldn't give it to them for free. And this fling is exactly lethal too. 1 less artifact on the board, and this doesn't work. Oh well. Yeah, obviously, like, after you lose a game, you start questioning all your decisions. I think I played in a clear way that I don't have counterspell, but if they weren't respecting that, the cast down doesn't stop that from happening either. Okay. All right, so the shenanigans come in, a braid comes in, hydroblast comes in. The cannonades were surprisingly relevant against the disciple plan. The cleansing wildfire, I think, is bad here. You just don't have a lot of time to do that sort of thing. Dispel is important. That counters fling. Cast down a braid. Yeah, I don't think I want more cannonades in the deck, because it doesn't answer most of their threats, just disciple. I have bolts and such for that. Probably want the edicts. Do I want edict over cannonade? Just go down to 0 of that. It's tricky because they had a triple disciple draw that game, but usually they can float 1 and play at a time. I feel like pieces is too slow for this deck. Like, I'll leave 2 of them in to draw later when I'm ready for them, but it's not great. Like, there's arguments for duress too. Like, if you can strip the fling and know you're safe. Right, I'm going with this configuration though. On the play, I have 2 of my 3 colors and a lightning bolt. I'm gonna keep, and I have curve, which is really important because, like we saw that game, if you wait long enough, you're just gonna bleed out. You do have to present a threat. Bridge is in play, and go. All right, cool. Drawing the other bridge means I get to preordain with no drawback here. I don't want Ash Barrens. I will take Frantic Inventory. Oh, maybe I wanted to keep Ash Barrens on top and mill the inventory with Consider. That would have been cool. All right, too late now. Because I do have a Brainstorm that makes Ash Barrens good, and then considering inventory is like shortcutting the next one. There's that Blood Fountain. I considered, when I was working on the deck before I started recording, I considered Gorilla Shaman, but the affinity mana base is just 2/3 indestructible these days. So it's just like not even really that good. Okay, got a handful of removal and selection right now. If they do something I need to kill, I can kill it. If they don't, I can consider into Frantic Inventory. And I want to consider first in case I randomly find a Frantic Inventory on top. Right, they're playing Draw Go. Their deck can play both Hydro and Pyroblast, and I'm a Grixis deck, so I'm just always in danger. They also have Dispel. Sometimes they have Metallic Rebuke. There's just a lot of interaction that this deck is allowed to play if it wants it. Consider, yes, put that in the graveyard. I'm really just looking for lands right now. Frantic Inventory. Hydroblast is dope. It's not the land, though. Preordain. Go for a Brainstorm here. Hope it resolves. Okay, cool. That juiced up the hand pretty well. I'm going to put Pieces and Curve back in that order. And I am going to commit to holding up Counterspell by playing the basic land. Having Lightning Bolt and Counterspell, like, being able to do two things in a turn. Like, I'm not winning. I'm not just like jamming curve next turn and going for the win. So short term, like you can play for the long term. This land coming into play tapped on turn 5 versus turn 4 isn't going to be a huge deal in the scheme of our overall plan. Their Blood Fountain, that card's so cool. They're still just playing Drago. They still have 7 cards in their hand, and so do I. There's the curve, here's the land drop. I can Counterspell and Hydroblast now, and I don't want to Preordain now because I like the top card of my deck. I don't want to get rid of it. I can just draw it next turn and Preordain looking for the land drop. Just hitting my land drops is what I want to do right now. That's the whole plan. I'm not going to fight over Thoughtcast basically ever. They have so many versions of that effect with Deadly Dispute and Thoughtcast that you can't really stop them from drawing cards, but you can fight over the payoffs. Disciple of the Vault. That's what Lightning Bolt is for. A cast. I'm going to Bolt Disciple in response to this. You can find little spots where you can take action where they have fewer options, but you can't necessarily stop all their options. Just got to fight over the good ones, which are mostly Atog and Disciple of the Vault. Okay, Disciple just straight up 1-for-1. They didn't even use a blood token or anything to drain me for 1 with some extra selection. And cast that down. The counter spells are literally for Atogs and Flings. And that's it. Beginning and end of list. Okay, I need this Preordain to come up with a land this turn. E or D. Okay, pop, pop. Found the land. I can cast down their Mirror Enforcer, and I want to do it on their turn. I already have 7 cards in hand. That's so many. There could be some argument here to taking 4 from Mirror Enforcer, and then because that would leave up Counterspell plus Hydroblast to win a fight over Atog. Like if I cast down Mirror Enforcer and then they go Atog, dispel my Counterspell, fling, then I'm dead. Yeah, I'm gonna take 4, and I can cast it down in the end step. Unfortunate, but I think that is how I have to play this one. With 7 cards in hand, I'm just going to respect Atog Fling for as long as I possibly can. That kind of sucks, because now when I cast down the Mirror Enforcer, they get an extra point out of it. Okay, here's what I was holding on for. Blue, blue, counter that. Atog is in the bin. Backup Tog. Hydroblast. That's why we take 4 in combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can curve with Counterspell backup, and curve is enormous right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think this is the best plan to victory. I don't need to remove Mirror Enforcer if I just have a 10-10 in play. The Blood Fountain is brutal, though. That can regrow the 2 Atogs this turn, and then do it again on the following turn. Wow. This engine is busto. I lose a life from this. Pick up the 2 Togs. They've made their land drop. I think I want to cast down the Disciple. Oh no, that doesn't make any sense at all. What am I even saying? Alright, yeah. I'm going to counterspell this Atog, and I can cast down Disciple next turn in response to their backup Atog. And maybe I'm supposed to have my Graveyard Hate in the deck because of the power of Blood Fountain. I do have 1 Nile Spellbomb that I could be playing. Backup curve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 artifacts in play. I think I need to pieces here. Leaving up maximum blue mana, I think is how I gotta do this. Raid and Counterspell. Yeah, those are good ones. So Bolt and Counterspell. Yeah. Bolt and Counterspell. I can double spell this turn. Bolt the Disciple. I don't want them to be able to chump block after they saw me put Lightning Bolt in my hand. And attack for 10. They're going to take that. 1, 2, 3, 4. They only have 1 black right now, so they can't Blood Fountain and Disciple when they pick up Atog and Disciple with the Blood Fountain. Or they could just play the Atog, get it countered, regrow both Atogs, and just have that steady beatdown. Or if they just have Dispel or whatever in their hand, I'm dead. Okay, the second Tog is back in the graveyard. All right, the fifth Atog is now in play. If they start floating mana, we're dead. They're going to at least attack for 4. That makes the necessary fling smaller. Oh, they don't have fling. Interesting. Saying there's a chance. Frantic Inventory. That's good for 2 cards here. Just leaving up as much blue mana as I can, because Hydroblast and Counterspell are both cards in my deck. Gonna attack. Okay, cool. I can fling them in a hilarious twist of fate. They are at 10. If they end up taking any action that taps them out, I can just fling them to death. Oh, they're deadly disputing. I'm going to cast down a Tog in response, see if I can bait them with a Dispel. And if this Atog dies, then maybe I don't care. Okay, I'm going to let this all happen. I feel like they didn't have an answer there, and I could have gone with the fling, but on an empty board, facing down the 10-10, they have to Blood Fountain their Togs back. They have to have the fling that they didn't have last turn. And all of that, they have to do it with counter backup because of my fling. I'm just trying to check as many boxes as I can here. Like, if I just fling my thing and they're like, I did have the Dispel, surprise, then I'm definitely losing this game. My 10-10's the only thing keeping me going here. Another Wedding Invite. Anything that uses their mana is good for me. Like, paying 2 to draw a card, that's 2 mana they don't have to hold up Dispel when they go for their combo. Here comes the Blood Fountain. Picking up 2 Togs again. They need 4 mana to Tog plus Fling. They have 1. I'm going to go for Cast Down. See if they're dead. Thud is a sorcery. Cast Down. If I can win this game without showing them I'm a Fling deck, that's actually pretty cool too. We got game 2. That's exactly how I described in the deck we'd have to beat Affinity. Just put a bigger creature than their things into play, and then sort of delver them out with removal and counter spells while they just die to my bigger creature. I do want the Nile Spellbomb now that I've seen how important Blood Fountain is to their overall strat. Pieces was nice, but it was nice also just finding one when I needed it, and it didn't gum up my opening hand with 3 drops. I think I'm off one of the Chainer's Edicts and up the Nile Spellbomb. Right, I'm doing it this way. Go. This one is a mulligan, doesn't cast any spells. Okay, keep this. And I think I actually send the Brainstorm to the bottom. Like, Brainstorm's good when your hand is bad, and this hand is already doing everything I need it to do, or at least everything I can expect it to do. And investing in the Frantic Inventory early is probably worth doing. Shame that Affinity has the mono indestructible land base these days, because this would be a great shenanigans game otherwise. And I drew Swamp, so I do have all of my colors available in basic lands. Grab the Mountain. And because they didn't play an artifact, holding up Counterspell or Frantic Inventory is pretty nice. And they should have Counterspell on their mind because they saw me search for the Mountain and then I played the second blue. I'm not countering Ichor Wellspring. We're fighting over Atogs. You know how I do. There's a target for shenanigans. Inventory. I have my Fling now. Oh, cool. I can preordain and then shenanigan. Chainer's Edict, Silver Bluff Bridge. I don't think I want this bridge. I will take Chainer's Edict. Then shenanigans, your Great Furnace. They don't currently have a blue source. And Seat of the Synod or Prophetic Prism or all of those things, I will dread shenanigans to beat up on. There's Thoughtcast. If they Tog, I can Edict. I can cast shenanigans and hold up Counterspell for basically the rest of the game at this point. Gonna need land drops eventually, but hitting this blue source looks like it's worth doing to me. Dread shenanigans. Fill their land again, hold up Counterspell. This is a sorcery and a red card. Okay, they can Deadly Dispute. I don't think that's the fight either. They still have 8 cards in their hand. The land's gone either way. And the fact they had to Deadly Dispute sacking their land to play around my shenanigans when they have Ichor Wellspring in play is just immensely satisfying. Prophetic Prism. Okay. That's a repeatable blue source. I need land drops though, so I think I'm done dredging shenanigans for a little bit. Just hold up Counterspell and edict their creatures is the current plan. Disciple can edict, eat a dick, as they say. And by they, I mean me. I'm they. Okay, I'm gonna have to Counterspell this one. It uses my mana. I don't really have an answer to this thing, and having the second creature for Edict is a problem. I want to draw a land or Frantic Inventory this turn. Not dredging shenanigans. Right, Counterspell, we get to continue treading water for a while. The Fling actually really sucks right now. You play one of those because you want it once you're already ahead and curving, and we're not doing that right now. They played Chromatic Star and passed the turn. That's kind of scary. They have 5 cards in their hand and they're not committing any of them. Hopefully that just means they don't line up well against Counterspell, which I'm pretty clearly representing. We're kind of running into a problem I identified in the deck tech, which is that this deck has, like, I think it's 7 or 8 lands that don't make blue, and it has Counterspell in it, plus a ton of cantrips. Just a very blue-hungry deck that doesn't have a... I mean, most lands make blue in the deck, or can get blue in the case of Ash Barrens, but there are the 3 Rakdos Bridge plus these 3 basics that are in play. Cool. Just developing land drops. That's what I want to be doing. Now I can curve with counter backup, which is also something I want to be doing. Curve is a 6/6 right now. Shit. Well, we're in the danger zone where I can't answer 2 things in a turn. Like so. Here's the Tog. If they have a Red Blast or Dispel, just going to get togged here. They didn't have that, though. That's lucky. But because I didn't have double blue available, they were able to get the Disciple in and then force the action on Tog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn, I can flashback Edict if I'm willing to tap out to answer a Disciple of the Vault. But Disciple is a problem, because like Deadly Dispute now deals damage to me, in addition to all the other things it does. They just Ancestral Recalled plus dealt 1 damage to me. 1 mana, draw 3. Also, you lose a life, by the way. Have fun with that. Problem with Edict is if I just elbow tap, then I'm tapped out if they have Tog Fling. I'll probably do it if I don't have a better play. Like, I'm going to lose to this Disciple if I don't do anything about it. But I would really love to draw a curve. That's the best draw right now. So I wouldn't complain about Frantic Inventory. Another Wedding Invite. That is a lot of artifacts in play. And they can sack 3 of them at will, 4 of them if they use their treasure mana for a Chromatic Star, so I'm just at 4 less life than it looks like at any given time. Till this Disciple's answered. Oh, I drew curve. That's how we do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Okay, now we got a plan. 7/7 in play. That's bigger than their thing. Only has to connect twice, and then I can fling it. In a real dire emergency, I could fling it at an ATOG. Well, let's see if their 6 cards in hand have additional protection or additional ATOGs. Ugh. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, well, I'm at 5 on board. If they can make more artifacts or have fling, I'm dead. They floated mana and started sacking things, so it looks like we're dead. Yeah, they just have it. Okay. I wish the card in my hand was Hydroblast. That would show them what's what. In perfect retrospect, you could argue should have countered the fling, but if I counter a Tog, then fling doesn't have text. They just had 2 Atogs in their hand. Yeah, there's the fling. Float blue for Hydroblast. JK. I'm dead. You got me. The affinity was as difficult as imagined because like we're pretty reasonable at not dying to fling, like with all the counter spells and removal that we have. But if we commit to not dying to fling, then we're going to die to these nickel and dimes from Disciple of the Vault. And the deck's not good at doing both. Like you need a bigger creature or something to contest the board sooner than Curve does. Maybe a fourth Curve in the sideboard just to have it more often. Maybe the Gorilla Shaman is worth playing, even though some of their mana base is indestructible. Like a lot of it also isn't. And I have enough mana that I could be blowing up Prophetic Prisms and stuff. So maybe Gorilla Shaman is necessary. Might be better than Shenanigans. Lesson learned. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play in round 3. And this hand I'm going to have to think about for a second. There are 22 lands in this deck, I believe. Yes, 22. One of them's in my hand. So there's 21 left. And 53 cards. So 21 goes into 53 about 2.5 times. So 1 out of every 2.5 cards is a land. And I have draw step for 1 card, consider for 2 more cards. But then I still need to keep hitting land drops. But Frantic Inventory is good after that. I'm going to YOLO keep this. It might be a mistake. I'm going to try it though. If draw step and consider just hit lands, then we're good. If I miss my land drop, I'm probably dead. But here we are. Let's try it. We can at least say we did the math. Whether we came to the right conclusion with the math or not is a different question. Cleansing Wildfire, okay. Time to consider the fact that I need a land drop. Got there easily. Never didn't have it. Milling a cast down versus the Goblin deck kind of sucks, but whatever. It makes the curve bigger. I'm not going to beat this deck by 1-for-1ing it with removal anyway. And this is a deck where Pirate Klasm is very good. War Marshal, okay. Get to plunk me for 2 here. I should expect Bushwhacker, probably. I'd love to draw a land. That's just how we do here. Preordain. All right, Preordain. Let's find that land. All right, got there. Bottom, top, land drop. Holding up Lightning Bolt going into this next turn. If they pay for War Marshal, they probably can't attack with Cohort. If they don't pay for War Marshal, which they probably won't, then we can expect Bushwhacker. Either way, I can bolt the Cohort to take damage off the board. Founder, Street Denizen. Okay. They're not whacking this turn. Every turn they don't whack is a good turn. I'm going to bolt Cohort here. Start to stem the bleeding. If I draw untapped land, just curving for 5 here, just putting a 5/5 on this board is actually insane. They'd have to go pretty wide to get around that, and nothing is big enough to get through it. I honestly don't remember if Goblin Grenade is legal in Pauper on Magic Online. It's one of those cards that's only been an uncommon on Moto, but has been a common in real life, and I'm not actually sure where it landed right now. Okay, options include Frantic Inventory, but I'm not casting Frantic Inventory because Cleansing Wildfire draws just as many cards. Okay, I am going to Wildfire. Oh, wait. I could hold up Counterspell and Inventory otherwise. No, I need a Wildfire. This game's going nowhere if I don't have 4 mana. Yes, use the ability. Put an island into play. And drew the island. Paid off for our discipline. I think I lose this game if I just pass the turn, because I'm like, maybe they won't cast a spell. But they're going to cast a spell, and then you're going to have to counterspell instead of frantically inventorying. I'm going to counter this because it's good for 3 damage off Foundry Street Denizen. And if they go Land Whacker, then that's fine. That damage was coming in anyway. And the fact they played Forgotten Cave last turn makes me think they didn't have a land drop. Because you generally don't want to play that card. You want to cycle it to have more goblins. And it seems my theory was correct. Untapped land for curve. Okay, I can... If I inventory in the main phase, that lets me potentially hit the land drop to still Abrade and Counterspell, but I don't think this is a turn where I take that play. Now I have 5 lands. As soon as I find the 6th curve plus Counterspell backup is in the mix, I'm going to counter this. I'm going to Abrade Denizen and then I don't care about Whacker anymore. And I can curve next turn with the biggest creature on the entire planet. Yes, the old sad naked bushwhacker. Gonna kill Denizen. They must have a second bushwhacker in hand, and they're just trying to get material on the board to have a more effective whack with. We're all just out here looking for the most effective whack. It's the human condition. Untap land. Let's go. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Serpentine curve. Giant card. If they go Goblin plus Whacker, like 1-drop plus Whacker, then I can block one of them and I take 8, go to 4. If their hand is 1-drop Whacker plus Fire Blast, I'm actually dead this turn. But let's hope that's not it. If they don't have Whacker, there's not much that I care about in their deck once I have a 9/9 in play. Prospector, that's pretty solid. That can solve the mana problems they've been sort of having. Ugh. Alright. Getting whacked. I'm going to block Prospector, because that's the one I'm worried about. I dead to double bolt. They could sack Prospector for red, sack one of their unblocked creatures for red. I take 6, go to 6. I'm dead to double bolt also, but they do kind of have to respect removal or counterspell. Or maybe they can't respect it. I don't know. Challenging. Okay, the red mana just left the pool. I'm only worried about Fire Blast at this point, which I'm not going to bluff counterspell when I can actually advance my board state. So if you have Fire Blast, you win. Didn't get Fire Blasted. Oof. This did not go well for me. I get to curve again. I'm dead to Lightning Bolt either way, so I should just attack. I'm dead to Whacker either way. Gotta put lethal on the board here. Any haste creature kills me. Any burn spell kills me. I'm like 1 point of interaction short here. But I wish Fling was in my hand. It would have curved out perfectly. Attack for 9, Fling for 11. Well, they're attacking, which means I'm dead, because they could chump block for a little while looking for burn, but they must already have it. Yep, dead. Okay. Couldn't answer them quick enough. I spent too much time, instead of interacting early, I spent too much time hitting my land drops, which I did manage to do. The deck was capable of digging out of that land drop situation we found ourselves in, but the cost was too high on the overall plan. Right, Wildfire is not what I want here. I didn't Lightning Bolt on turn 1 because I had to preordain for a land drop. I cast that Wildfire instead of removing something, and I ended up getting bolted out where 3 more life, maybe I win that game. And the Lightning Bolt on turn 1 for the cohort is 2 life right there. We can definitely see how that happened. Hydroblast is excellent, Cannonade's excellent. Those are my 2 best cards. Wildfire is not good here. Pieces might be a little slow, but is it worth bringing in another Abrade for that? I'm not convinced. Like, Abrade is a 2-mana answer, and most of their threats cost 1, so... And, like, a lot of them, the damage is done when they resolve, not when they stay in play. In, like, Foundry Street Denizen, you want to remove early and often, that sort of thing, but the Whacker and the War Marshal, you want to hit those on the stack, or else it's too late. I think I want all my pieces, because they can dig for my Pirate Clasms. Yeah, this is my play. Okie dokie, Artichokes. We got 2 dual lands, all the colors are covered. Pirate Clasm is here. Let me find the 3rd land drop. There's no cantrips or a 3rd land in this hand, but this deck is in large part cantrips and lands. So either one of those things before turn 3 is good news. Here's the cohort. Okay, there is a 3rd land. You don't usually have to Cannonade to stay alive on turn 3 on the play. We should have a little bit of time to operate here, I hope. And Cast Down can buy the space if I need it to. I'm not going to preordain here. I'm going to Cast Down or Counterspell. I guess it depends what they do. Like Goblin Caverns, I guess I'm a little worried about. Reckless Impulse is powerful. I'm going to counter Reckless Impulse because if they don't hit a goblin spell, then these can't attack anyway, and they're getting swept up in the cannonade next turn. All right, they did have a goblin spell. That's fine. Countering Reckless Impulse, headed off a 2-for-1, and then I'm about to 3-for-1 them with cannonade. Would love to draw a land here. All right, Danger Zone. Do I preordain, trying to find an untapped land, or do I just cast the spell? I think I just cast the spell. There's no room for error here. This is a tasty little 3-for-1. I'm going to take it. 3 cards left in their hands. Let her go. Wow. That's not what you want to do. Preordain, find me that land. Good thing I didn't preordain last turn. I'm going to take the other preordain and cast that. That gives me more looks at lands than just random draw. I want Lightning Bolt. I want a land, but Lightning Bolt is not a bad consolation prize. Yeah, I'll put Bolt on top. We can go into their turn. If they cast something I'm worried about, I can Hydroblast it. If they don't, I can just bolt the Sledder. Looks like Sledder's getting bolted. They don't have like Atog Fling sort of combo lines that I need to worry about holding up Hydroblast and taking 1 damage in combat for. 2 Hydroblasts. I think their hand sucks right now. Like, everything they've indicated to me is that they're not actually playing the game right now. So let's pieces of the puzzle and try to pull ahead. They probably have like Lightning Bolt or something reactive. 3 lands go straight to the graveyard. I get Cast Down and Preordain in my hand. The 6th Mountain and then pass the turn. That's what I thought was going on. Nothing. Ash Barrens is great. I'm going to cycle that for an island and then use the island to cast Preordain. I do it in that order because if I scry something to the top, I don't want to lose it. Okay, this is an opportunity to pieces an inventory into the graveyard. Wait, no, it's not. Pieces is a sorcery. I could bottom Brainstorm. No, maybe I just top both. Top, draw Frantic Inventory. If they don't do something I need to react to, I can inventory, which finds Brainstorm and then sets up the next inventory. And we're just a curve away from taking over this game. They're starting to just fling random lightning bolts at my head when I'm at 14. That's a deal. I'm not going to counter this because I have Cast Down that can answer it easily. And I'm going to inventory right now. Like, they haven't cast a creature spell in 3 turns, and this card requires creature spells to do anything. Brainstorm. That sees the most cards. Somehow still missed on lands. Okay. What do I not want? I think pieces. This is a lot of cast downs too. I'm going to put 1 cast down and 1 pieces on the bottom of the deck. And I'm going to preordain both to the bottom. All right, found the land drop. We got there. Okay, so they have to draw a creature spell to even attack with this card. If they do, I can decide how I want to remove it, if I care at all. And there it is. No creature spell present. We might be at a point where I would Hydroblast a random lightning bolt. Okay, I'll definitely Hydroblast that. That's the kind of card. Like, we're not going to lose to creatures at this point. Look at my hand. But we just got to make sure we don't get burned out. I'm going to pieces looking for a curve. Brainstorm Lightning Bolt. 2 more lands into the graveyard. And Brainstorm. There's a curve. There's an inventory. Okay, now we're doing stuff. Put curve on top. Play my land. Lightning Bolt or Hydroblast, whatever they do. Next turn I can curve, which is enormous. There's literally never been a bigger creature in Magic the Gathering than the curve I'm about to make. Don't fact check that statement. Bang, 14-14. I don't think goblins are going to be able to beat a 14-14. Okay, I'll take a bolt. They go down to 1 card in hand. I'm drawing Frantic Inventory. I think I want to bolt them for funsies. Not really for funsies. It's because I'm going to have to go to discard, like discard to hand size this turn. So I might as well cast a spell while I can. I want to inventory for 2 cards here. Get a land drop. Okay, yeah, we're good. Put them to 3. So they're dead to bolt if I find a bolt. They are dead to combat if they don't find anything. I have 2 counter spells. I have 3 counter spells in my hand. I can cast any 2 of them. Mash to Smithereens. Oh, that's cool. Scary, but cool. Counter target red spell. Yep, still fighting over that. Maybe I shouldn't have shown them the second Hydroblast. Maybe I should have used actual counterspell on that, but whatever. Game 3 to rule them all. Edict just doesn't line up against what they're doing. Confirmed Goblin Grenade is legal in the format, by the way. Surprise. I don't think anything gets better here. Fling is actually really bad. I think any game where I curve, I'm going to win. Though the Fling does... Like, if I'm dead on board and I'm able to just, like, frantic inventory into curve Fling, that's actually a line to win a game where I'm losing. But I think that I'm better off making sure I'm not in a losing position just by having more removal. Fling is just such a dead card, and if I make a 20-20, I'm just going to win anyway. Yeah, Fling is win more in this particular matchup. Let's do this thing. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got Brainstorm and a Shuffle. Conscripts. Another Lightning Bolt. Okay. This might get awkward depending on how hard they come out of the gates. They get to attack for 2 here. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step and then Shuffle in the upkeep. I think that just spends my mana the best. Try to get this hand smoothed out. I definitely want... I'm going to want Curve as soon as I can, I think. I guess I don't have to Shuffle in the upkeep if I just want these cards. If I put back Inventory and Island, and then just draw Island for turn, we'll see if the Curve pays off. I think that shuffling away Curve there would have been a reasonable thing to do for reasonable people. But I think I just want to jam that thing on turn 4 early and often. Very blatantly holding up Lightning Bolt here. Worried about Whacker. Whacker's always the best card. Goblin Caves, that's a good one. Goblins get +0/+2, so I'm going to bolt the Conscripts in response right now while I still can. I have Hydroblast that can remove that. Oh, the Cleansing Wildfire actually blows that up too, but I boarded those out. I'm really glad I put Curve. Kept Curve in the hand. I am going to have to contest this board with a body, not just removal spells. Okay, with Brainstorm and Consider, I think holding up Counterspell is better than Preordaining. I really don't want to get whacked if I can avoid it. Reckless Impulse. Is this something I counter? I think so. Just a draw 2. Yeah, let's fight over that. Fine. Fine. I don't like it, but I think it's worth countering. Sletter. Okay. Sletter resolves. Then I'm going to bolt Sletter because I think they will sack one of their attacking goblins to save Sletter, which is the same as bolting. Well, if I bolt an attacking goblin, they can sack that to pump the other attacking goblin. If I bolt Sletter and they save Sletter, then I take 1 less damage. They could also sack their Sletter to pump an attacking goblin, which means Sletter's not in play, which I'm pretty happy with that, actually. All right, deck. Untapped land. Let's make a big creature. All right, almost. So close. Both teams tried hard. I'm going to preordain first. There's Cannonade. That doesn't matter anymore. I'm sure that feels good for the Goblin player. I'm going to bottom both of these, actually. All right, found a black source. That's what I was trying to preordain before my land drop for. Or Marshall. That sucks. Just a lot of toughness in play. Raider. Tilt. Okay, they had another Sletter, which is why they sacked the first one. Mog Raider and Goblin Sletter are the same card. They'll probably sack War Marshal to get an extra damage in here. And I'll consider in response to that. See if I can find a bolt. Cast Down. Yes, I do want to put Cast Down in the graveyard. I just want the biggest possible Serpentine curve. At 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in trouble to Bushwhacker. Okay. I'm not going to try to Brainstorm into an untapped land and cheese an extra point on curve. I'm not convinced that 8 and 9 are a significant difference. They have 1 card left in their hand. If it's bad or doesn't affect this board, my 8/8 is going to ride. Okay, they just have a bunch of 1/5s now. 8/8 is still bigger than 1/5. And maybe this is a game where I actually want Fling. Okay. They're pushing their damage. They're going to sack whichever goblin I block to pump one that I didn't block. So that's what their plan here is. They get to push for 4 this turn. Yeah, having that cast down in the graveyard feels bad now because Mog Raider is the thing that's making this game still playable for them. Ooh, Hydroblast. Give it to me. Brainstorm, let's turn these lands into something good. I can put these 2 lands on top, and then I can pieces to clear the lands. It's a little risky because I'm not guaranteed to hit 2 spells. Like, I know 3 of the 5 or 2 of the 5 cards I'm about to look at are bricks, but I don't want to draw them, and it's all good. Okay, a Braid and counterspell or cast down. I think I want to Hydroblast the Mog Raider right now and just risk the top of their deck, because Mog Raider is the thing that's really pushing damage right now. Whacker puts me to 1. Lightning Bolt puts me to 2. Yeah, I basically just got to survive this turn. I don't think I get to attack yet. If I attack, I die to Whacker. Okay, they drew another Goblin's Letter. Or, yeah, Mog Raider. They get to push for 3 damage this turn at the cost of one of their goblins permanently. And then I have cast down for next turn. Block. They could sack the Raider itself to put me to 3, and then I'm in bolt range, but I think the Raider is just doing way too much right now for that to be a real play. They know about cast down. I have 2 for cast down, 2 for counterspell, and I'm still good to preordain. Another counterspell. Cast down the Mog Raider. They are in top deck mode. The board is stable, and I have 2 counterspells ready. This Abrade, unfortunately, is a brick. And we saw they brought in Smash to Smithereens, which is just another lightning bolt. We know they have Goblin Grenade. We are not out of this game. It's just currently under control. Oh, good. They just straight up grenaded. That's a 2-for-1. I get one of their goblins out of play, and that's handled. I can start attacking now. Yeah, I gotta win this game now. I'm winning the race. I can counter a lightning bolt. If they draw bolt, I can counter a Whacker. Yeah, like I have their first relevant draw step covered, and not every draw step they could have is going to be relevant. So it's time to get my 8/8 in there. Gotta win this game. Really wish this Abrade had text, but the Goblin Caves are doing well. If they draw like 1 land in their next 2 or 3 draw steps, I think that's the breathing room I need to run away with this. They're definitely going to attack, put me into bolt range or smash range. They have outs. Nobody's denying that. Okay. Counter that as well. All right, dead to lightning bolt. Come on, counterspell, Hydroblast. This game is awesome. So tight. Preordain, find me, counterspell. Abrade and lightning bolt. Lightning bolt doesn't change the clock. Yeah, these would normally be great draws, but right now they're bricks because of the caves. Frantic Inventory, let's go. Cast down. Okay, that answers a Whacker. All right, if they draw a creature, I win. If they draw a spell, I lose. If they draw a land, I win. Okay. 1 draw step to rule them all. A land. Oh, awesome games. That was a lot of fun. Their sideboard tech came in clutch. So did mine. I'm going to draw 2 cards with Frantic Inventory because I can't get away from card draw. And in we go. GG's. We're 2-1. On to the next round. I'm on the play in round 4. I would never in my life mulligan this hand. This is the Nutter Butters here. We got card draw, we got the ramp, got some removal, got the payoff. Let's go. I'm going to lead on the red land, because if I draw an untapped land next turn, I can Wildfire right away, rather than committing to doing it on turn 3. Like so. If I led on my black land, I wouldn't be able to do this right now. Island. Found the Fling. Great. I love when I draw Fling early on, as we've discussed. All right, Augur. Are they going to look at the bottom 3 cards of their deck? Nope, they actually did find a Lightning Bolt. Frantic Inventory. I'll just cast this now. Like, I have Preordains, like, there's Lightning Bolt. That keeps Ninjutsu off my back, and I don't have to worry about Spellstutter Sprite if I do it in my main phase. They're playing my favorite deck. Is it Skred? The Skred Fairies, Augur of Bolas, Ninja deck. Love this deck so much. I think this matchup's probably going to be tough, but I do know how to play with it and play against it. So we have that going for us. Bridge to the bottom, Preordain to the top, then Preordain again. Keep it going. All right. Bridge to the bottom, Brainstorm to the top. Brainstorm, get rid of my stupid fling. Get rid of fling and get rid of this extra land, and then cycle, grab another island, and play my land for the turn. That was an awesome turn. That was so pretty. We saw so many cards, fixed our hand. Oh, I love that. That's my favorite part of this deck, just how many cards you see. Augur, found Frantic Inventory. Oh, it's a Frantic Inventory mirror. Too bad it's not accumulated knowledge, then we'd really be having fun. Frantic Inventory and AK are very similar cards, but one of them counts your graveyard and one of them counts all graveyards. Okay, I want to cast down this Augur. Like, fighting over the enabler versus fighting over the payoff is... Okay, that was risky. I cast that right into Spell Stutter, but they didn't have it. I'm going to Pieces here. I mean, if they ninja me, it's fine. If they counterspell this, that's also fine. Okay, we're in business. Lightning Bolt and Curve. Do I want to start curving? Or I already have one curve. And Scred's going to have a hard time keeping up with that. I want Lightning Bolt and Frantic Inventory. Like, I already have inventory number 2 locked up, and I just found number 3. Because having more cards than your opponent is almost all that matters in this matchup. Inventory, there it is. Like, timing of your spells matters, like respecting Spell Stutter Sprite, respecting Ninja of the Deep Hours, all of those sort of things matter a little bit, but ultimately it's going to come down to who can represent the most interactive pieces on some sort of clutch counter war. We just brainstormed into Preordain, use Preordain to bottom. It's not pretty, but it does clear the brainstorm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can curve with counterspell backup right now. That's really good. This thing is way bigger than Scred, way bigger than Lightning Bolt. 12 creature, let's do it. They have 6 Snowlands in play right now. It would take 2 Screds to kill this thing. Or a Scred and 2 Lightning Bolts. Main phase Spell Stutter Sprite, interesting. Scred, oh, okay. They want to protect their second Scred with counterspell. Got it, okay. That's pretty smart. They played that really well. I am not going to take the bait here. They very clearly have another Spell Stutter Sprite in their hand. All right. Scred worked. Good job. That was still a 3-for-1. Like, this Spell Stutter Sprite, it's still in play, but is not doing what they want it to do. I'm going to Frantic Inventory, and I'm holding up Lightning Bolt. If they go for this Spell Stutter, I can take them off of that. This is what I was talking about with the timing and figuring out where you have to interact against the Azit deck. I could have just lost a big counter war and they have 2 sprites in play, but instead they conceded the game because they know they're getting buried. Easy money. Fire Cannonade comes in, Pyroblast comes in. Duress is in the maybe pile, Dispel's in the maybe pile. Probably not bringing in Duress, but Dispel does have options. Cleansing Wildfire, not good here. It's just filler. Like, I love that interaction so much, but it is ultimately just filler. I'm going to cut Fling against the deck with tons of counter spells. This Fling is a 2-for-1 because you lose the creature as part of the cost. Then if they counter it, you're just down the creature and the Fling. And I think a 12/12 will just win this game on its own a lot of the time. Fling is too cute. Anything less good here than I want it to be. I don't think this deck uses their graveyard. I could bring in the Hydroblast. That does counter Scred. That's mostly all it counters. And I can just wait on my curve. I only have 1 creature in the deck, and it's the curves. Well, 1 type of creature. It's the fractals that curve makes. Oh, the Screds are going to pile up. It wouldn't surprise me if they cut Lightning Bolt. I do want Dispel in the deck. So I gotta find... Yeah, Dispel hits most of the... hits everything that Hydroblast would hit, plus a bunch of blue spells that it wouldn't. Yeah, I'm gonna go 1 more in that direction. Is it Cast Down or is it Pieces? I think it's Cast Down. No, a Braid is worse than Cast Down because they don't have artifacts, and Cast Down is a clean, just kill it. I don't have to worry about the size of it, and also it doesn't get hydroblasted. This is what I'm going to do for this deck. Oof. Pyroblast is one of the best cards, but I have 2 draw steps to hit the land to start preordaining. I'm actually going to keep this. Land drops are really important, but I don't think this game is going to go quickly, and I have time to hit them. All right, not the one I wanted. Literally the one land in my deck I didn't want there. I guess that's not true. The basics are also bad, but looking for blue sources. Hopefully we find some. Get one more draw step before we're sweating. I'm actually going to beat up on this because I'm not sure. Like, giving them time to sculpt when I need time to sculpt, that might be a giant spew. Maybe I should have saved that for just Augur Bolus or something, but... Oh, they're missing a land drop. Okay. That worked out well, but now I'm also missing a land drop. Let's see who can dig out of this first. All right, I'm not going to 1-for-1 on Frantic Inventory. I'll go after an Augur Bolus or the next Frantic Inventory. On deck. Land. Blue land. Shit. Okay. Some trouble here. If they cast something in my end step, I won't have to discard. All right, I have to discard, it turned out. I'm going to discard Pieces. A long way off from that being a good card. Having lots of spells is not my problem right now. Frantic Inventory. All right, I'll discard that one to hand size, happily. I'm just feeding my curve. Playing perfectly here. I'm not at a point where I can Pyroblast Preordain now. Like, if we were still both missing land drops, maybe, but my opponent has hit their land drop. I'm going to need to hit an actual spell with this. Oh, yeah. Mono red, baby. But now the Cannonades are online, so that was actually a really good land drop. All land drops are good right now. I am not going to discriminate. Spell Stutter. Okay. I can Cannonade that. If they Ninja here, I have to Cannonade because they could Spell Stutter the Pyroblast. And I get got by Counterspell or Blue Blast. But by... Okay, that doesn't do anything. Very clever. They just revealed they have another ninja in their hand for no reason. That literally does nothing. Oh, they must have misclicked. It doesn't make sense that that would be... All right, they must have Counterspell in their hand too. Okay. They said oops in the chat. All right, so opponent has Counterspell and Ninja and Spell Stutter. How about a blue land deck? Blue land. Jesus. Jesus is betraying me. So close to his birthday. RNGesus, that is. Well, I know they have Spell Stutter, so I can't actually counter this. I'm not just going to ram Pyroblast into Spell Stutter Sprite. Oh, now they have Hydroblast too. It's getting worse. They had to discard to hand size. So did I. Oh, they have Curfew in their deck. That's good to know about. That one can answer my 13/13. Or XX, however big it actually ends up being. Here comes the Ninja. Here's my Cannonade. They're going to Counterspell. Or Hydroblast. Yeah, there's the Hydroblast. So they get to hold up the Counterspell, and now they're drawing extra cards every turn. Now we're dead. As clean as last game went for me, they're executing their game plan as they like this time. Okay, I can Lightning Bolt now and Pyroblast the Spell Stutter, and then at least the board is clear. Oh, jeez. Right, that resolves. Pyroblast. You have another 1-mana counterspell? Okay. We at least got the Ninja out of the way. Frantic Inventory for 2. Augur's back. Counterspells in their hand. Cool. Free Augur. And Red Elemental Blast. That can also kill my curves. I'm not sure if I should still be playing this game. Or if I should save clock for game 3. Just, we're now 18 cards into the deck, haven't found a blue source. That is pretty unreasonable. They're committing attackers to the board. All right, I'm done. I know they have 2 counter spells in their hand, plus 5 other cards. They have a bunch of answers to my fractals. That's actually really scary. Like, between the Red Blast and the Curfew, I only have 3 ways to win the game. And they can answer several of them. I don't have a way to like regrow Serpentine Curve or like shuffle it back into my deck or any such thing. Yeah, this is tough. All right, I'm just gonna have to play super disciplined and make sure that they're out of gas before I start committing fractals. I'm not falling for this again. Mulligan. Come on, deck. Mulligan. Okay, keep. I'm gonna keep up pieces and or I'm gonna bottom one of the pieces, keep one of them, and I think I should send Lightning Bolt. Yeah. Ugh. All to 5 sucks. Here's my Is It Bridge. Preordain. There's not a lot they can do about this on turn 1. I don't think I want this second Is It Bridge. I will take the second Preordain. Cycling Ash Barrens, you got it. Got their mountain set up. Didn't play it right away. You usually don't when you're on Is It. I can Preordain and counter a Spellstutter Sprite. I'm not going to fight over Counterspell. I would have countered Spellstutter Sprite, but not Counterspell. The Sprite represents Ninja and has a cascading effect on the game if it's in play, and the other card doesn't. Cycling Ash Barrens again. I'm glad they didn't flash in a Sprite in the end step. I didn't want to have to figure out if I wanted to navigate that or not. I cycle Ash Barrens for Island here. I have tons of red, tons of black. All of my Rakdos dual lands are in play right now, which is easily the worst one. 6 cards in their hand. I'm going to try a pieces. It's not getting better if I wait, is basically the problem. Yeah, just a clean little red blast. That sucks. They have me exactly where they want me. That mull to 5, absolutely brutal. If I were in their seat right now, I would be so comfortable with the situation. I'm going to cast down because they can't Hydroblast that one. All right, but they had Dispel. Okay, now they pick up their Spellstutter with Ninja, then they have Spellstutter in their hand to counter the Pyroblast, which is my answer to Ninja, and this game is basically over. I need an answer to Spellstutter Sprite this turn, or I'm just going to die to this Ninja. All right, maybe they'll fall for this. Okay, cool. Do I want Frantic Inventory? Do I want to invest in Success or no? Top. Okay, keep both of those. They can't. All right, I'm gonna let them. Let's go into their upkeep, and then I'll cast down. I guess that was bad. I just gave them the chance to counterspell plus Spellstutter. Damn it. Shouldn't have let them untap. Now I lose. Fuck. That was so bad. I'm drawing Frantic Inventory. I still can't cast this Pyroblast. That was bad. You have to play perfectly against this Ninja deck because it's so good. All the pieces work together so well. I found what I wanted and it wasn't good enough. Yeah, now I need to find a Pirate Clasm. Yeah, I've been in my opponent's position right now so many times where you're just like, every time you connect with Ninja, the door closes tighter and tighter. Augur found Dispel. Okay. All right, we're done. There, you could imagine like perfect series of draws that might get me back into this game, but this game is over. I've been on the other side of this. I've been on this side of this. We're not getting through this Ninja. It's drawn 3 cards. It's about to draw another. We know they have Dispel and Spellstutter. They have multiple answers to my next multiple things that I have to top deck in a row, by the way. This game is over. I had a chance to kill Ninja. I shouldn't have let them untap. I thought about it like right after I did it. Like you all saw me do it. I was like, I'll do it in their upkeep. Wait, shit. Too late. All right. GG's. They played better than me. On the play for the final round, I have a turn 2 Wildfire. We're keeping this. Interaction, got a curve. I even get to ramp into the curve. Good times all around. The hand even has double blue. It just takes a while to get there. Basic mountain strategy. Oh, it's just straight up burn. Okay. This is probably one of the tougher matchups. We'll see. See how it shakes out. The lightning fast curve definitely helps in this matchup, but it doesn't help if it's a 3-3. Like 4-4 is the number you want curve to be at. Flame Rift. They're just on the full spell draw too. Get right in there. Ooh, tough. All right. Cycle Ash Barrens. Get myself a mountain because I want to hold up Lightning Bolt if they have a creature. Then play mountain. Blue, red, Wildfire. Yes, get another island. Okay, if they ever produce a creature, I have Lightning Bolt ready. I would have kind of preferred triple blue there, but I think anything I can do to save life points, if they just have the Get to Lava Runner, that's exactly the creature that I was worried about. Because they put 2 spells in their graveyard, which gives this thing haste, and now's the time to answer it. If they follow up with one of their repeatable damage creatures, I'll feel kind of bad about it, but whatever. We'll deal with that later. Frantic Inventory number 1. Frantic Inventory number 2. Didn't find an untapped land. Did find a counter spell. Wow, that whole turn cycle, they just 2 mana just went unspent. What is in their hand right now? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm having a 6/6 curve next turn, and I have the fling. Like, this is a matchup where the fling might actually matter a lot. Skewer, that makes sense to be a card still in your hand because they didn't deal any damage last turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't sneak the Preordain in ahead of the curve. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6/6 creature with counterspell backup. Their creatures are irrelevant now. I'm at 8. 3 cards in their hand. Searing Blaze. That's not the fight. Still doesn't kill my Fractal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And oh, not 3 of it isn't blue. If I Preordain, it has to hit a blue card or untapped blue source in order to Preordain into Serpentine Curve into Counterspell. Yeah, I'm just going to attack and make another curve. I have lethal on board and a Counterspell. With 3 cards in their hand, they could easily outburn me here, but I just hope they don't do that. 7. Yeah, the fling's not quite lethal. The fling's lethal next turn, for sure. It's got to survive that long. Chain Lightning puts me to 2. I'm not going to counter a non-lethal spell. They have 2 bolts in their hand, I'm dead. They're not ready for the fling, though. Who's the burn deck now? Put that in the graveyard. And then Preordain. Cast down in Frantic. Inventory. Bottom top. Land. Do I want to give them a draw step? Sure, let's go. They haven't indicated they have a relevant spell yet. Deals 1 damage to each opponent and create a blood token. So putting me to 1. That's a cool card. Alright, sure. I'm at 1. They currently have 2 cards in their hand. They're blooding. Now they have 1 card in their hand. Yeah, they can't win at this point. Yeah, with 1 card in hand, I can fling and know that I'm good with my counterspell backup. Bang, burn deck. Got him. Yeah, curve does really turn the corner very quickly. It's like a Gurmag Angler on some sort of illicit substance. Okay, I want Hydroblast for sure. Hydroblast is actually one of the cards I cut for the shenanigans. The originalist had 3 because Ash's local meta has a lot of burn. And right now, I wish I was on that version of the deck, but we did use the shenanigans earlier, so it's a give and take. Welcome to building Magic decks. Duress is probably good for 3 life most of the time. Cannonade. Cannonade's fine. I have a lot of spot removal. As dope as the Cleansing Wildfires were that game, I still think they're the cut. Inventory might be a little slow, but I think we got to live with that. Curve is extremely important. I think Pieces is too slow. I think I'm just going to do this. I have a lot of removal already. I just upped my counterspell game. Like, dying to burn after you stabilize the board is one of the major concerns against this deck. This hand is not a keeper. I need more interaction than that. No lands. Okay, I can keep this one. Curve is really important, and all these cards are important. I'm going to Tempt Fate and bottom 1 of the lands. And it's either Duress or Cast Down. I think it's Cast Down. I have more removal in the deck than I have discard spells. So I'm just going to keep the unique thing. And this is a game where they have a 1-drop, of course. That card is really good. New sets coming in strong in the Pauper metagame. Lava Spike. Okay. Begin the Pain. suspended a Rift Bolt. This thing's in for its second damage. Full Goblin Guide action. I'm going to duress first to know what I need to preordain looking for. Okay, their hand is 2 lands. That's nice. This blood token, actually, insane right now. Counterspell is good. I don't think I can keep it here, though. Bottom counterspell, top the land. I do need to hit land drops. I need to get my curve into play to answer this 1/1 creature that is about to get in for its 3rd point of damage. It's become Flame Rift. Or, Lava Spike. It will soon be a Flame Rift. Blood turns Mountain into something new. And got their full 3 points out of this card. Unreasonable. Okay, they're not getting another point out of that card. And I'm gonna wait until combat in case they cast a 2/2. Alright, now I'll kill it. This will at least slow down, skewer the critics. If I don't take damage in combat. There's the land that I knew about. Frantic inventory, hell yeah. So I can inventory. If I hit land, I can inventory again. Dope. Alright. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Gotta survive these 4 cards in their hand. How good could they be? I shouldn't have said that. I'm tempting fate. Knew they were functionally hellbent a couple turns ago, but they've blood tokened and gotten a few draw steps since then. Give me the spells. The 3rd frantic inventory. Normally, I would be extremely excited about that, but conditions are a little different than normal right now. Let's draw 3 though. Okay, sick. I can duress them, hold up Hydroblast, and get my tap land into play. Show me your secrets. Oh, Searing Blaze and 3 lands. Wow. Wow. I wonder what Searing Blaze is still doing in the deck. The only creature they saw last game was an 8/8. And we did it. The duress was pretty effective. We got to draw and cast both of them and ended up with a positive record. This deck was a lot of fun, and it actually was really good too. I think that it needs a better plan for Affinity. Just that matchup is so bad, and it's so much of the metagame right now that you need some really dedicated slots. I think some Mox Monkeys, the Gorilla Shamans, would go a long way. I think the second Abrade and the Shenanigans should just be 2 Gorilla Shamans. The deck has so much spot removal in the main anyway that I think the second Abrade just it doesn't do enough against artifact decks, and you don't need it against creature decks. So forget about Abrade, and Gorilla Shaman is an upgrade to Shenanigans. The Fairy matchup seemed really hard too, though we have a lot of spot removal, and we do have both pieces and frantic inventory to pull ahead. Like we saw in that game 1 situation where we were able to outmaneuver what they were doing and pull ahead, and then they were just dead. But if they get ahead at all, it's really hard to beat them. And the deck that has 4 Pyroblast in the sideboard, plus Curfew, is actually really, really scary for Serpentine Curve. Like, you only have 3 ways to win the game. There is no more. That's it. And you have no way to recur it. I wonder if, like, 1 Devious Cover-Up in the main deck would make sense, because then you can tuck your curves if you do get into, like, a crazy grinding situation. Pieces of the Puzzle was powerful when I was able to cast it, but it's also clunky. Like, it's something you want on like turn 5 or 6 when you're already set up and need more action. It's not really something that you just tap out on turn 3 for. So I guess you would in a faster matchup. Kind of like Devious Cover-Up. Just got to find out where I'd want to put it. It might be one of the pieces of the puzzle. One of the tricks with Devious Cover-Up, though, is that in Pauper, Devious Cover-Up, tucking Devious Cover-Up back into your deck is a actual win con in some matchups. But this deck with the curves, I think if you shuffle 2 or 3 curves back into your deck, that will give you inevitability in all the matchups that Cover-Up for Cover-Up would also. Yeah, all right. I think 1 Devious Cover-Up over 1 Pieces of the Puzzle. That will fill in the gap for those matchups where they can actually beat a 10-10 or 3. They can actually beat 3 10-10s. And then you actually have to come up with a second wave of threats. I like that there. The mana base. I don't think we need the second basic mountain. And I think I want 1 more island in that spot. Just We have 3 Rakdos gates, whatever these are, bridges, Rakdos bridges, and 3 Ash Barrens to find the basic mountain. The only time you'd want basic mountain is if you need untapped red mana right now, which would be in like an aggressive matchup where you want a lightning bolt as soon as possible. And that's not a whole lot of the Pauper metagame between Affinity, Fairies, Boros Bully, the token decks. Like lightning bolt doesn't really need to happen on turn 1 and 2 that often in this format. And I would rather just make sure I can cast my cantrips and support Counterspell plus Frantic Inventory. Like getting double blue early is important, and then getting triple and quadruple blue for the mid and late game is also important. I'm just gonna go 1 more blue source in the deck. Chandra's Edict sucked to this league, but we didn't play against Bogles or Heroic or any of the matches that it's really for, so I'm not going to say that card's bad. But I think it would be beneficial to find a 4th curve somewhere in the sideboard for the matchups where you really need to contest the board, like against Stompy and Goblins and Affinity and Burn. I was fortunate in some of those games to have a like turn 5 or 6 curve, just make a 6/6. But in some of the games, I never found curve, and I just got plunked by little random creatures. And that really is a difference maker. Maybe there's not room for it. It's about deck space at this point more than whether I think it's good or not. And tuning your sideboard for your expected metagame is always part of building a deck. Maybe this like fun of 1 of Nile Spellbomb could just be the 4th curve. That'll depend on how many decks are actually using their graveyard versus decks are trying to kill you fast. That's a consideration you could make. Duress is the other card I'm looking at. Like Duress, Nile Spellbomb, those are the 2 cards that I'm looking at if you do want the 4th curve for your metagame. If you don't want the 4th curve, though, this sideboard is pretty well rounded at the moment. I can feel myself drifting into an obsessive hole where just tuning the 75th card of a control deck, I could do this for hours. So I'm just going to cut this video off right now before you're all here for another hour listening to me talk about the difference between Dispel and Hydroblast or whatever. So thank you all for watching. Ash, thank you for this deck. It's super cool. I hope my suggestions help improve it and help you spike those local Pauper tournaments. Don't die to burn. Good luck out there. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the merch. Check out the Patreon. Check out all that stuff. And have a great holiday season. I'll see you for the next video, and have a happy new year.